Hey guys, welcome to the Gig Economy Podcast, episode 164. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Of course, Janet, our super fan, is always like the first one commenting, and we appreciate that. How you doing today, Jesper?
Oh, I'm a little tired.
You're a little tired?
See, it was just too much of a partying last weekend. I'm still trying to, get up on. I can't even talk anymore. I'm still trying to get, my energy back.
I went to
party animal.
Friday night. I went to my first gay bar ever with my gig economy crew, and it was interesting.
What gay bar did you guys go to?
So it's called. So the joke was we were calling it the Woodcock, but it's not.
Oh, so I didn't know the wood shop was a gay bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's what Gabe said. So Gabe bought a $28 drink there.
Yeah, I heard they had like $2 worth of alcohol in it.
Yeah, him and Sam shared it. So it was a cool little place, though. Like, I don't know. I've never been to Rumors or what's the other one, the Apartment Lounge or whatever. But
the Apartment Lounge.
Yeah, but no, it's cool. I'm glad to see there was another, LGBTQ plus bar in Grand Rapids. So that was cool.
Mm-hmm. I had an incident once with a couple of women had gotten egged outside of Rumors.
That's dumb. I heard of Rumors is a dope place to go if you want to dance. Like if you're into like dancing and shit, like club-ish or whatever.
Lots of girls go there just so they don't get accosted.
Yeah, they don't get hit
because men are idiots and fools.
Right. So we did have our picnic this weekend. It went very well. Had a good time. Had a couple social gatherings outside of that. So I appreciate everyone coming. Couple of pictures going to throw up there. Got Janet and Tom sitting across from each other and her husband Gary. There's me over there, Sam, Frank from Philly, Larry, Matt. I think that's Pete, Gabe, and then Chris. Let's see.
And then yep.
And that's Gary.
Larry and Gary.
Larry and Gary. Yep. And this sexy motherfucker. Well, two sexy motherfuckers. Gabe on the right and Pete on the left. So if you've heard those names, then you kind of know. And then Sam right here on the far right.
So Pete isn't actively driving right now, but he's a OG supporter of the podcast, and we love him for that.
Well, he used to be on the show.
Absolutely, he was on the show, but he was also a full-time driver.
Yeah. This picture, there's me looking at my phone, and there's John right there from North Carolina, if you heard us talk about him. Matt right here, the back of his head. He hasn't been on the show, but Matt struggles with, needs a kidney transplant and a heart transplant. He's a hard-ass worker. And then this over here, this woman is Frank's mom, Mandy. So it was super nice to meet her, too. And then here's a picture of all of us gigsters over there. There's Leo, far right. Chris, Matt, me, Gabe, Janet, Jesper, John, Larry, and Frank. There we go. So,
and obviously, as you all know, Leo came in from Detroit.
Yep.
Matt and Chris are local. Gabe came in from Ypsilanti, but also kind of local. And then we had Janet, who came from, I don't even know, 28 hours away or something like that.
Something crazy. Yeah.
Something crazy, and you took the picture away. So, but the cool thing
it was up there for 10 minutes. What do you want? Do you want an invite?
Well, I was trying to finish my story, but no.
Fine, I'll put it back up there, you dirty bitch.
The cool thing was that we had people coming from many, many states, and while we don't have a giant picnic, it's growing every year. We have more and more people coming, so that's very exciting.
The funny part of this is everyone out of here is not from the area except two people. Well, excluding Jesper and I.
Yep.
We had more out-of-towners than locals.
Absolutely.
Which is kind of interesting.
I'm not sure why. I was discussing that with my wife a little bit. We have to try and do a better job maybe getting it into all the local groups, which I think we put it in there. All that it's on all the podcasts and stuff. I don't know what we can do better, but
yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I like our crew. I don't really care if it's small or big. I had such a great weekend. Probably the best one I've had with the crew. So,
and we had really good weather, and it's a good way also to just kind of celebrate with our fans. So we love that. So
for sure. Moving on, bad review. We got We got slashed.
We got slashed.
It's pretty bad. Okay, guys, here we go. I read the good with the bad. So I mean, at least we're getting reviews, right? 1 star, infotainment, heavy on the taint. That's a funny line. It seems like the hosts of the show have enough gig work experience that they could share information or tips that would help new to moderately experienced gig workers. But it feels as though they consciously choose not to. Instead, you just get a bunch of surface layer warehouse style water cooler talk. Nothing really funny or entertaining. It sounds like the hosts don't enjoy doing the podcast or that it's a chore. Ouch. Also, the majority of the stories or information has been circulation for several days before the episodes drop. Lastly,
several days.
I know. Lastly, they operate in the same circles as many of the YouTubers in this genre. Yeah. Is that genre?
Yep.
Is that how you spell it? That's weird.
Yep.
As a result, you get a lot of the same boring guests. Okay.
Do you want to like dissect it and talk about it?
Yeah, Jesper. We're dissecting it. This is from Jiminy Longfellow in Washington. I definitely did.
Jiminy Longfellow. So I think the when you and I first talked about it, and you were absolutely correct. The first thing you said is we give lots of good tips and good feedback, and we do. I think maybe Mr. Jiminy Longfellow picked a couple of podcasts where there maybe wasn't so much to talk about, or maybe he was, I don't know. It was just weird.
The honestly is yes. Do we set a segment apart to give a tip? No, we used to at the beginning, but then we just use stories to be like, hey, just remember, if you're a new driver, this is super important, or this is something that I would focus on, but only when that stuff comes up, and it might not come up on every show.
Right, exactly. And the one thing that we hear the most from our fans is that they like the banter between us. They like that it's also, just people talking about everyday life.
Yeah.
It's not all about how can you be as effective as possible. And, let's be honest. I mean, gig work it's not rocket science. How often and how much time can we fill by talking about you got to use this camera, you got to do this.
And Jiminy, how stupid are you that you don't know how to do gig work that you need a tip in every show? It sounds like you're stupid.
It's not. Yeah, no, it's not that. No.
Okay, so next part, it sounds like the hosts don't enjoy the podcast or it's a chore. No, I love doing it, but can it be a chore at times? Of course. We've done like 250 episodes. Like, I mean, between interviews and everything, yes, sometimes it can be a chore, but fuck off.
And that being said, there's also not always. There you go. Fuck off. There's not always that much stuff to talk about when it comes to about news.
Yeah, so that's the next thing is hilarious. Are you wanting us to like just take the news of that day that we're streaming or recording and just do that? Like you say several days before. What are we, a 24-hour news service, you dumbass? Like I could see if we pulled a story from like 3 months ago. Like, dude, seriously. And then we operate in the same circle as many of the YouTubers in this genre. Yeah, no, we don't. I'm barely on YouTube. We're barely on YouTube, but do we have a friend that gives us guests? Right. Honestly, you spent all this time. Like, I feel like it's just weird when somebody spends this much time to rip us apart. You know what I mean? But anyways, I tried to stalk him. I couldn't find him. But
so maybe he's not that interesting. Sorry, Mr. Sibby Longfellow or whatever your name is.
Jiminy.
So, Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah, but anyways, no, I appreciate it. I mean, I appreciate that you took the time. I mean, I maybe agree with some of this, but not all of it.
I would encourage you to reach out to us and come on the show. Let's have a good talk with you on the B side, and let's figure out maybe we can share a few golden nuggets with you on that one.
Nah, he can fuck off. And I almost said something real bad, and Janet was gonna stop the show. So it's something real bad. All right.
No.
We're gonna talk about some gig safety, as you know. So just I'm gonna state this one more time. The B-side is only for interviews. We're not calling it the B-side, but every time you see Jesper's face, it's going to be a shorter show. We're just going to get into it. No ads, no bullshit, whatever.
Right.
Jesper and I, when we're in this setup right here. So this is not a B-side. This is a regular show. We're just going to get after it. So hopefully Jiminy will be okay. He didn't complain about us not getting after it because usually it takes us like 10 minutes to start talking about gig work. He didn't complain about
12
that.
12 minutes in, so yeah.
Well, that's interesting. So this is an article, Drive Fast and Carry a Fake Wallet, How Pakistan's Gig Workers Stay Safe. Let's see. We got to double check the date for Jiminy. What's the date on this? Oh, September 18. Sorry. We're 9 days past. We can't talk about it.
Yeah. Well, we can't talk about it then. Out. Next one. No.
Street crime has spiraled out of control in Pakistan cities, and gig drivers often late nights. Which I didn't know Pakistan. I mean, I know they do gig work everywhere, but it was interesting. One of the guys says he had a mobile phone robbed at gunpoint. So now he keeps a dummy mobile phone with him. It's basically a dead phone. He told the Rest of World, that's the name of the news article, or the paper. I keep that in a fake wallet and fake banknotes in case something happens. I just lose that, nothing major. So I guess it's just out of control, and so there's just an article about the safety. Gig workers told Rest of World that they have come up with workarounds to ensure their safety, including driving as fast as possible, Jesper, when passing through dangerous areas at night, and using location sharing apps so friends and family know where they are at all times, which I think is important. That's kind of one of the reasons we have the Telegram group. It's always good to check in on somebody. I always worry when, even when Jesper had that long trip. I mean, I didn't worry enough to stay up, but I know there were people in there checking on him,
right.
Especially Frank, because he works nights.
So question here for you, and do you think that there's an opportunity here for the app to help be safer by maybe staying away from high crime areas? Like when you're driving, like let's say you're taking a person from A to B, would it be an opportunity for the app to kind of, not go the direct way through A to B, but maybe go stay out of areas that are very, very high crime when you have countries like that where that's what they're having?
Yeah, I mean, I would think that would be a good thing to do, but then there's discrimination. You know what I mean? And then it's also,
sure.
I mean, in those countries, they probably don't have the issues that we have in the States as far as discrimination lawsuits, blah blah blah.
Right.
But I also wonder if it's just like Uber, and they're like, well, we want to make money, so we're not gonna neglect an area because it's dangerous. But I can see them doing it. Another guy in the article said, if someone wants me to pick them up from a dodgy part of town at night, I call them up and first ask them come to the main road where where there is traffic, instead of them calling me to a desert alley where I could potentially get mugged.
Yeah, let's have them walk from the bar through the deserted alley.
Well, in my head, it's like a main drag, and then there's a bunch of just short alleys. You know what I mean? Not like it's like 5 blocks or anything, but. If you were to guess,
very safe for him.
Yeah. If you were to guess how many gig workers in Pakistan are, what would you guess? Because I'm guessing you didn't read the article, right?
I did not.
That's fine. That's good.
But I would guess there's probably about 500,000 drivers. I would think
1.7 million.
Yeah. Not one bit surprised at all.
2% of their labor force, which I thought was shocking.
I actually thought it would be more.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So here's a couple.
2% seems very little.
Yeah. Here's a couple things I highlighted. Ride-hailing platforms in Pakistan usually only provide insurance on incidents that happen during the ride, leaving drivers to fend for themselves when they're on their way to pick up passenger waiting for rides. This is in reference to car insurance.
Interesting.
When Ali contacted,
so the episode 1, 2, and 3 kind of thing.
Yeah, but they don't have that. Complained about a robbery and request for compensation. He said he was told nothing could be done. The company said, our relationship with you is limited when we connect you with another customer and you are traveling with the passenger. Once the ride is complete, our relationship with you has ceased. So I thought that was interesting too. Like, oh, you got robbed? Fuck you. Unless you call during the robbery, we don't care. We don't have to deal with you after you drop them off.
Oh my word.
And then
that seems wrong.
It does seem wrong. If something happens, you should take care of your driver. And then the last part, it reminds me of, what's happening here. The larger problem, according to Ahmad, is that gig platforms treat their workers as self-employed rather than employees. If recognized employees, workers would gain various labor rights like minimum wages, union membership, and compensation for injuries. So what does that sound like?
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it 100 times, right? I wouldn't want that. I don't want that. I have a job.
I mean,
this is,
I know, but I definitely would want rights as, if I got hurt, those kind of things. But like, I don't need everything, all the other stuff. You know what I mean? So
I do. I do.
I swear we're getting shadow. Okay, no, maybe now there's 4. Because at one point there was 0 people watching, and I'm like, wait a minute, are we getting shadow banned somewhere? Does somebody hate us?
I don't know. Maybe they are.
Probably.
So this next one here is kind of about safety as well. Only this one is a driver doing a stupid.
Never.
Oh yeah, very, very, very much never. So it's a DoorDash driver, and this happened in Middleton, which I'm actually not sure the state. Anyways, Middleton, and he goes that a DoorDash driver bringing Dunkin' to a customer. I'm assuming that must be Dunkin' coffee or whatever.
Yeah.
To a customer, got their car partially I like how it says got their car partially submerged after following their GPS down a dirt road. Yeah. So he followed the GPS into the water. That's really what happened.
Fucking idiot.
The driver said they were delivering Dunkin' to a home on Mill Street. The driver said they followed their GPS, but ended up in a body of water. So what do we do when we see water on the road? Do we stop? It's just, I mean, yes, look at the map, but always look at the road first, of course.
Yeah.
When Middleton police arrived, they found the car still running and partially submerged in water. The driver asked to be taken to an area hospital. Police said the car was towed from the scene. It does not appear any fluids leaked into the water. So that's good. The driver is expected to be charged with negligent operation of a motor vehicle. A request for immediate threat suspension was filed with the Registry of Motor Vehicles. So, in other words, he's done driving.
Yeah, that guy's not very smart. I don't know if you ever watched The Office, but there's a scene in The Office where Michael drives into the lake following the GPS too.
I think I've seen one episode of The Office and I didn't want to do it anymore. So
yeah.
This not me.
Yeah, no, it's fine. This article reminded me our good friend Larry was involved in an accident over the weekend. Totaled his car. So just shout out to Larry for just a good recovery. Was not hurt, thank goodness. Yeah, it was. I felt bad. That car. He's gotten hit in that car like 3 or 4 times. Of course, this wasn't his fault. None of them have been his fault.
No. And this one he was middle car in a 7-car wreck.
Yeah, the semi 2 cars back finished him off because pushed the rest of the cars into his rear end. He's so funny. He's so kind. He was like, silver lining though. He goes, Jason, remember that rattle you were telling me about? We were talking about the other night. That rattle's fixed.
It's gone now.
No rattle anymore. Felt so bad for that guy. Gosh, after that great weekend. Every time Larry and I get together, I get COVID. Larry and I get together again, Larry gets COVID. Larry comes up.
You guys got to stop, like, sleeping in what's it called, like hand in hand or whatever.
No spooning.
Yeah, spooning and no spooning.
Larry comes up for the picnic, visits me and the rest of the crew, totals his car. Bullshit.
Yeah. But I mean, as you said though too, luckily it was Larry. And Larry, I mean, not to say there was anything it was good that anybody went through it, but Larry's gonna handle it. He'll come out on the top, he'll get a nice vehicle, it'll be all taken care of because Larry knows how to do shit.
And Larry gets shit done.
I know he gets shit done. I have utmost respect for Larry. So he'll be right back driving, in a week or so, whenever that's taken care of, and it'll be fine.
Probably won't be a week, but soon.
However long it'll be for him to get the insurance company to authorize a new car, huh?
I told him to get him an electric vehicle. He laughed at me.
I'm thinking about getting one of those hydrogen cars.
Okay, and I'm an idiot for getting an electric car. Okay, moving on.
Well, I mean, they only have hydrogen gas stations, on the west and the east coast. I only have to drive a couple hundred miles to get to one.
Perfect. Today I found out, this is on Reddit. Some of these Reddit posts are hilarious. Today I found out Uber drivers don't get a company card for gas. So this is not just a driver group. This is a Uber. I started following just a regular Uber group. So I filled my driver's car up. I also left him a cash tip so he will have the money to fill up his tank again. He was so nice and had the air conditioner on when I entered, unlike some of the cheap drivers. I mean, this could be scam. I mean, I don't know, but like, is it true? Does this guy really think? I mean, I have heard people say, "Is this your car?"
Oh yeah,
I've had people say that, like when I'm driving people around, like, "Is this your car?" I mean, they're like,
I think there's plenty of people out there thinking that we get paid for gas,
like we're employees, like we're like W-2s, and it's the company's
however
car.
that work.
Yeah, that's the fucking stupidest thing I ever heard. I don't know. I just thought it was.
I mean, but at the same time, they all see and has visibility to how much their ride cost and how much we are paid.
I don't know. Like some people are just clueless in real world stuff. Like,
oh, absolutely.
And that's
what I mean.
My wife, bless her heart, when she's at work, she's a freaking awesome. Like she knows everything. She runs shit. Like she takes care of those babies. Like no one questions her at all. But like I always tell her she's a princess when she comes home because like I take care of everything. And I think just some people are like that. They just don't really need to know about it or need to care about it. So they're just like, whatever. And then they ask those dumb questions and they sound like idiots. But I mean, that's not what I'm saying about my wife. But
I was going to say, that's not what you mentioned.
I'm going to shut up. I was thinking when I brought that up, like that was probably a bad move. So, all right.
I would like to point out to the fact that I know Megan, and Megan is super, super bright.
Oh, of course.
And is definitely with it. So but that is not what Jason meant.
This is funny, though. If you ask her, have you ever mowed the lawn or shoveled any snow since we been together for over 20 years? And she will say no.
Well, but why? She shouldn't have to, though. Right?
Why?
That's the whole point. Huh?
Hey, why not?
I'm sure there's lots of things that can be said about you that you and I haven't done.
Hey, why not? It's all these women want to have 50-50. Go shovel some snow.
Actually, I heard an interesting thing the other day. I was listening to a Danish podcast. No, but I'm going to listen to this. It shouldn't be 50-50. It should be 100 and 100.
Yeah.
We should all give 100% all the time. It's not about giving 50% and then the other party give 50. No, we all give 100%. That's what it means to be a family. You give 100 and 100.
Yeah, but when we're saying 50-50, we're saying I'll do 50% of the work and you do it. Not that we don't give 100% when we're doing that 50%.
Is it though?
I mean, I don't know, but you're right. You're right. My wife cooks.
I think what they followed up with was, people's 100 is different sometimes.
Yeah.
There's days where your 100% is less than mine, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Because that's what it means to run a family. Anyways, this is not Threats podcast. If you want to listen to that, go find that one out.
No, that one died. It's not even the name of the show anymore.
That's right.
I hate you. Talk about this.
Sorry. So this is hopefully a fun joke and hopefully not.
I don't think it's a joke.
But you can't just be making. Anyway, so this one here was actually a email going out to Uber drivers that they can rent it now. But the idea was that Tesla drivers are earning $5.76 per hour.
Well, I think
why would I rent a Tesla or drive a Tesla so I could make $5.76 an hour?
Well,
drivers, so it goes, and I'll let you talk in a second. So it says drivers renting a Tesla from Hertz in LA are currently earning an average of $5.76 per hour. Teslas are eligible for the zero emissions incentive, which allows drivers to earn an extra $1, which means before they were only making $4.76 an hour. Up to $4,000 annually. You can also complete Uber Comfort trips in a Tesla, which riders pay a little more for than Uber X. Tesla rentals start at $334 per week and include unlimited mileage, insurance, and basic maintenance. Anyways, $5.76 an hour? No way.
Well, so I think they have all these like pre-done, right, in these equations and out whatever you want to call them. Because I've seen
Right.
some like drivers in your area are making like not in ours, but I've seen them post in different cities like
Right.
making $8.50 an hour. You know what I mean? So I don't think anyone's actually like monitoring those. I think they're like, oh, it's our time to send it out, so let's put the calculation together. And then they send it out and they're like, oh shit, what do we do? We shouldn't have sent that one out.
Yeah,
You think
we're
that's
not gonna rent Teslas.
yeah, but I mean, like there is
Oh, yeah.
there is some interesting conversation about that. If you are thinking about renting a Tesla or any car, it's got to work out. Like I think it works out good with Gabe because he's grinding. Like that dude puts
Right.
in, he probably does two to 300 rides a week. You know what I mean? Of course, it's going to work out for him, but please don't rent a Tesla at $334 a week and go drive 50 rides. Like.
Right. Well, and then the other question I had, and I don't know the answer to this question. Maybe somebody does. If you rent the vehicle, do you get to have do you get the 64 cents per mile subtraction on taxes?
That's a good question. My uneducated guess would be it's probably the same either or. You get to write off the rental or you get to write off the mileage.
Right. You don't get to do both.
Yeah, but now that I think about it, if you don't own it, although I don't know. It's a good question.
I mean, the idea of the mileage is that it's also for the maintenance of the vehicle, and if you don't have the maintenance of the vehicle,
right? Yeah, no, that's a really
I
good
don't know.
point. I'm leaning
Maybe
the other
somebody
way.
who knows anything about that, they can let us know. And if somebody wants to come on the show and talk about that, again, reach out to us at teams@gigeconomyshow.com. And I'd love to have a conversation more about, the economy behind renting a vehicle or a Tesla or an EV or whatever to do gig work in. So anyways.
I have noticed that most of the rentals for Uber are EVs. I'm wondering because of the low maintenance on them, they can charge this and then they don't need oil changes. They typically don't need brakes. I mean, they will eventually,
Right.
but you don't see very many non-electric vehicles on the platform to rent.
That is true. My new car, and you probably know all about this. I mean, I honestly know very little about cars, but my van, what's it called? The system that makes it easy to turn the vehicle. What's that called?
The power steering.
The power steering is electric. It's not. There's no fluid in my car.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So there's no maintenance on the power steering. You don't have to do any of those. So I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know that either, that newer cars had electric. It makes sense, but I never thought about it.
No.
I don't think my wife's does, and it's in 16.
And that's another thing that's interesting. Every time I take mine to an oil change, how much do you think my oil changes cost at the local oil place?
I mean, if you get basic or if you get like synthetics, it's usually like $90.
Mm-hmm. Try 156.
Yours is wow.
Okay. Yeah, it's 7 gallons of oil, right? And the filter is special. And
you said that.
They take the extra special kind of oil. That's the only kind that's approved for the car. It's like,
what is Kia doing?
Huh?
What is Kia doing? That seems like
I don't
terrible...
know. But it's 10,000 miles. I can drive 10,000 miles on an oil change easy.
Wait, you don't normally drive 10,000 miles? An oil change?
No, I will do 6 or 7.
Yeah, no. Synthetic is roughly about 5 or 6. But,
but no, Kia has approved it. No, if you do follow their rules, you can easily do 10,000 miles.
Huh. Interesting. Well, I guess but do you have to use their oil though? Can you got to be able to use other oil?
Well, so if I go into I use one of the oil change places up on Lake Michigan Drive, and they will only do what's approved for the vehicle.
Interesting.
So they have to follow. That's their internal rules, and so it has to be like this is the only. So I have to buy their most expensive oil because that's the only one they have that's approved for this vehicle.
It's probably a good idea. They probably started doing that, saying, "Hey, if you want to, if it's under warranty, I bet you out of warranty, you could probably do whatever you wanted."
Oh yeah, but I'm also sure that if I wanted to have them put normal oil in, they would. But I would probably have to say, sign a waiver or anything saying that they're not responsible for anything.
Yeah, I get that.
So, but anyways, no, they even I took the car to get an oil change actually before the picnic, and he said, "I don't have any more of that oil. You have to come back." So, how can you run out of oil?
Well, I mean, if
Like,
it's a special oil, I mean, he probably doesn't keep a
I know,
tanker full
but
of it.
he did find an extra box in the basement. So I found more. I'm good.
That's so funny. I mean, I knew like foreign cars, like German cars are really finicky about maintenance and stuff, but I never heard of Kia. I thought it was kind of more of, anyways.
So anyways, yeah, that was a what's it called? I digress.
So this driver, one of our listeners on our community Facebook group, which we'd love for you to join, talked about this, and I swear we talked about it. The name sounded familiar, but maybe I've seen it online, and so that's why it sounds familiar.
I did not remember the driver spelled wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the name. But anyways, it's Move Your Car with Ease, the first on-demand app for personal car delivery. So the gist of it is like, we'll drop your car off for maintenance, we'll move your car to another home, we'll move your car short distance across town or across the country. So basically, as a gig worker, that's what you do. You move cars around. So I did apply for the job, and I was able to get through it in about 2 minutes. They do facial recognition and driver's license, and this is the first one that didn't give me errors for, I don't know. I think the beard really throws the camera when they're trying to verify stuff. So I think so this is the first one that went through the first time, so I was pretty stoked about that. So did that. I did a background check, whatever, but I got a text. Thank you for joining us. We have received an overwhelming interest in your area. As a result, we are currently holding new applicants at the moment. We'll contact you once new opportunities become available. We appreciate your patience. But in the group, it said people were talking about how there was never any work. So, like, I don't know if, and again, market specific, right? We say that all the time. Hey, Jiminy, that's a tip. It may be market specific, just in case.
Jiminy.
Yeah, Jiminy.
Another tip. Hey, here's another tip. Use a webcam. So, no. Oh
what?
My gosh, I can't.
What is happening?
Always have a dash cam.
There we go. A webcam. I thought you were I thought my camera was off or something, so you were making a joke, but
no. So the next one here is actually also a new app, but it has nothing to do with driving, except unless you count driving a sewing machine. So this is a tailor. Did you see what I did there? This is currently the app is only in Great Britain, as far as I can understand. It's called Soho, Sojo, or whatever, however you want to say that. But yeah, it's for tailoring services. And so,
I'm sorry,
you changed the title.
So you can still click on it.
Anyways, well, I have the app. So, anyways, the idea is that people who are good at sewing can sign up, and they can get jobs for like little or big jobs for getting things fixed when it comes to clothing. And what the app is saying is, a lot of they're doing it for obviously a number of different reasons, but one of the big reasons they're doing is they were seeing a lot of clothing being thrown out for no reason, because a lot of these clothing that just have a small thing wrong with them, people they don't have a way of getting it fixed. They don't know how to do it or whatever, so they'll just throw it away and buy something else. So some part of that is for that. They did just get a second round of investors, so it sounded like they got some angel funding. I think it's at 2.8 million pounds, and basically the biggest part of that was because they had gotten a lot of interest from some Scandinavian clothing brand called Ganni, if I remember that correctly. And the article doesn't state more than that. That was interesting to me, though. Interesting in the sense that maybe are they going to be using Zoho for production? I don't know how that works. So that's all kind of interesting. But again, I always like hearing about new apps, and if you're good with a sewing machine and your Etsy store isn't super busy, maybe this is a way of adding a little bit to that.
Well, I think it's more repairing stuff and more like, my pants are too long. I mean, that's I think of it as a gig. I told Jesper before the show in our local community group, I see people asking for, hey, I need this hemmed and sewed, and it's it's a talent it's a skill, just like a lot of skills are kind of going to the wayside. So they're hot in demand if you can do it. But I think this is great because most of that stuff you don't really need a backlog if you're a seamstress. You could do it real quick, and I think that would be amazing if you needed something done instead of like trying to find somebody. You go on Facebook, you're messaging these people, but to have an app be like, hey, I need these pants hemmed, like how much? You know what I mean?
So it's interesting you brought up the concept of hemming, because that's not something I ran. I mean, every time we bought a pair of pants in Denmark when I lived over there, they had to be hemmed, of course.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because when you buy pants, or at least growing up when you bought pants, they would just be too long because you don't make the pants in several different lengths. They come and you have to hem them.
You mean for children or adults?
Anyone. It didn't matter, right? You would have to hem them and you get them hemmed.
That doesn't happen
here. My mom
though.
would use to hem pants all the time, huh?
That doesn't happen here.
I know, but that's the thing, because here you buy pants and they have set lengths of the pants. So that's my point is, I don't think on the American market, I don't see hemming as being a big part of Soho.
Gotcha.
Because you buy the pants, or what's your what's it called, leg length or whatever you want to call that, and then so yeah.
Well, I've
never seen that until over here, huh?
The hemming happens a lot in my family because I'm short, so it was tough for me to get pants that fit my fat waist and then not be super long. It was tough to get those sizes. It's actually gotten a lot better as America's gotten fatter, but like early on in my younger adult, which I wasn't as heavy, but I struggled being so short to get pants that fit my waist that weren't super long. But
and obviously, if you're talking about more expensive brands or your suit or anything like that, that will still have to be hemmed, of course.
Oh yeah, because you want those fit like
that's not. We're not talking about a pair of these jeans from Maya, right?
Yeah. So. Last article, and then we'll wrap it up. Best states for gig workers. I thought this was kind of funny.
It was an interesting thing. Yep.
The data set ranges from the average annual earnings of gig workers to cost of living per capita, tipping rates, and worker classification laws per state. And I'll just get right to it. Michigan is number 50. Best state for gig worker, Michigan's number 50. There's
in a list of 0 to 50.
Correct, 1 to 50.
If
top
people
10.
Don't know how many states there is.
Jiminy's going to be mad at this.
I know.
Jiminy is going to be mad.
Hey, it was another tip.
I mean, maybe. States. Yeah, you're right. Yep, maybe he will be. But did it happen today? No, it happened a long time ago. All right, the top states for gig worker. I'm not going to read them all. I'll read the top 10. Maine, West Virginia, Arkansas, South Dakota. What the fuck? New Hampshire, Hawaii. Oh, no, we knew Hawaii was good. Connecticut, Vermont, Wyoming, and Georgia. Again, we could probably link this up so you can. There's like scores at the bottom, like there's like methodology and income tax and all kinds of stuff. But average annual earnings, highest was in Florida, lowest in Michigan. Gig worker compensation, highest in Delaware, lowest in Vermont. Projected gig work growth, highest in Mississippi, lowest in Massachusetts. But they're currently, I think they're the next state that's talking about the Prop 22 crap.
Right.
And then customer tipping rate, highest was Delaware, which they were highest on gig worker compensate. Oh, no, that's competition. Is that competition?
Competition.
Did I say compensation? I'm a dummy.
Yes.
Can't read.
But it's okay. Competition.
And then customer tipping rate, lowest in California. So it's funny, on all these top 5 and highest and lowest, Michigan only got in the average annual earnings, which is weird.
So
why do you think that is?
I didn't understand how they came up with the numbers at all, because I looked at it and it made no sense. But what you just mentioned, I wanted to touch base on that for a second. You said the state with the lowest tipping rate is California.
Yeah.
But don't you think that's because of that stupid Prop 22?
I mean, it's possible.
Because people are already saying, well, you're already getting paid, a livable wage. I don't need to tip you.
Well, yeah, or is that Prop 22 coming from So it comes from DoorDash. Let's just use DoorDash because they're always the example.
Yep.
But it's coming from DoorDash, but are they charging the customer? Does it say Prop 22 money to the customer? So are they tipping less because DoorDash is dipping into the customer's pocket more?
Could be.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That's so funny. California. Fucking idiots. Sorry, John. He's not on here, so I can say it.
On that note,
I would say it anyways. All right, guys. Thank you so
idiots.
much. That was hot and dirty, quick and fast. Next week, be a regular show. And then the 11th, we have somebody coming on that's for the B-side. So I'm looking forward to that. Please, 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 if you are listening to this show, we need more people to come on. If you're a gig worker, I don't care what you do for gig. I don't care how long you've done it. We do like talking to new people. It's not as scary as it looks. You heard the show. We're pretty laid back. We won't drill you unless your name is Jiminy. If you come on the show, I'm going to drill you until your taint hurts, since you used the word taint in your review. I wish I could. I hope he listens to this.
But you only let him come on the show if he promises to share it with his audience.
Yes, exactly. His mother, because he lives in his mother's basement. That's his audience.
Oh, my God.
All right, guys. Have a great...
You had to stop.
I had to start. That was a good...
You had to do that. You had to go there.
Hey, it was a good closing. As always, guys, don't put up with anyone's bullshit.
And we'll see you on the road.
Good night.
Good night.
This podcast is produced and edited by Hey Guys Media Group. Want to start a podcast? Check out heyguysmediagroup.com.